just quit while I'm ahead. All right. I got married this year. Thank you, supportive wife and friends I brought to the show. Any other couples out here tonight?
Yeah.
Couple? Gotcha. Good luck. Do you guys know the statistics on marriage in this country? You know? Almost 50% of first marriages end in divorce. 50%. The other half end eventually too, one way or another. Murder, suicide, sometimes both. Yeah, but honestly, if anyone took a gamble on their mate selection, it was my wife. She's more attractive than me. When I met her, she was a straight-A student, college athlete, law-abiding citizen, all things of which I am not. Yeah, I'm like the first blemish on her resume of life choices. Yeah. So I took my wife on a movie date recently to see The Avengers. Because nothing keeps a marriage alive like a 3-hour-long Marvel movie and some overpriced popcorn and Junior Mints. Well, guys, 3 hours long. It turns out that does not make a great date night. The only thing long-ass Marvel movies are good for are long-ass flights. To distract you from the fact that you're flying through the air at 600 miles per hour, trapped in a pressurized can, aluminum can, with a guy who just farted and contaminated the limited breathing air you have to live off of for the next 3 hours. Now, the most disturbing part about that whole scenario to me is that airplanes are made out of the same material that I used to wrap up my leftover pizza. It's a little flimsy for 600 miles an hour, you know. The last time I was on a flight that long was Chicago to Vegas. I don't know if anyone's done that flight. It's right around 3 hours. I wished a fart in a can was the worst thing I had to deal with on that flight. Yeah, it wasn't. So to preface this story, you need to know that I'm an optometrist. For the couple of you that aren't quite sure and probably have perfect vision under the age of 40, that's an eye doctor. Yeah, my optometry friend too. There's a lot of people, it turns out, and this, it bugs me, it gets to me, but there's a lot of people that, think optometrists aren't real doctors. Well, if you're one of those people, I've got something to tell you. Yeah, no shit. If you're choking to death in front of me, I'm not about to pull some Grey's Anatomy shit and fucking do an emergency tracheotomy with a goddamn ballpoint pen. I'm gonna call a fucking ambulance. I've got more faith in the YMCA lifeguard doing CPR on you than I do myself. Yeah, so we're cruising 35,000 feet, and I hear the flight attendant come over the intercom. Bing, boom. Yes, if there's a doctor on board, please come to the back of the plane to help with a medical emergency. Alright, well, apparently some old lady's fucking stroked out on the middle of our flight. I'm like one step away from a great vacation, so I'm sure gonna be full of excessive indulgence. My weed brownie's kicking in, I've got my rum and coke. Captain America's starting to look really good in that spandex. Grandma over here better not fuck up my flight plans. So, of course, they come back on about a minute later with a hint of desperation in their voice. Bing, boom. Yes, please, if there's anybody with any sort of medical background, we could really use some help back here. So shit. Well, I started to think to myself, if I had a stroke on an airplane, would I rather have a underqualified Delta flight attendant or a mildly fucked up optometrist try to save me? I understand, not the best options, but that is the world we live in. You guys remember the last presidential election? Yeah. Life is just a bunch of shitty, limited options. This lady's getting a drunk optometrist because apparently that's the best we've got. So, I finished my drink, unbuckle my shit, head down the aisle. Excuse me, optometrist coming through. Excuse me. Are you the guy that farted? Fart right back on you, bitch. Excuse me, optometrist coming through. So I approached the barely conscious lady. Ma'am, are you okay? Pretty pretty sure I've seen this one before, guys. Ma'am, I need to perform a test on you. This test will determine if we need to immediately ground this plane to get you emergency help or not. Ma'am, can you see how many fingers I'm holding? 3. Get this lady in her seat. We gotta get this plane to Vegas. All right, guys, that's my time. Appreciate it.